The crystalline spires of Kepler 442b caught the amber light of its dying star, casting long shadows across the abandoned metropolis. Captain Zixara of the Galactic Survey Corps adjusted her bioscanner as the reconnaissance vessel descended through the planet's thin atmosphere. According to their records, this world had been marked as potentially habitable 3 centuries ago, then forgotten when faster-than-light travel opened up more promising systems. Atmospheric composition stable, reported her second-in-command, Lieutenant Velnash, his scaled fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Oxygen levels at 18%. Temperature holding steady at -12 Celsius. Definitely within tolerance ranges for most carbon-based life. Zixara nodded, her compound eyes reflecting the eerie glow of the scanner displays. The Theta Centauri Collective had sent them to investigate unusual energy signatures detected by long-range sensors. What they hadn't expected was to find the remnants of what appeared to be an advanced civilization. "Captain," the ship's AI announced in its melodious synthetic voice, "I'm detecting a single life form. Human classification. Location, approximately 2 kilometers southeast of our current position." The bridge fell silent. Humans were considered extinct by most galactic civilizations, their homeworld Earth having gone dark nearly 400 years ago. The few scattered colonies that had survived the Great Silence had eventually been absorbed into other species' territories or had simply faded away. "Impossible," Velnash whispered, his translator struggling with the concept. "The databases show no record of human settlement on this world." Zixara's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "Set us down near the life sign. Full environmental suits, we don't know what we're dealing with." The landing party of 3 made their way through the crystalline ruins, their boots crunching on what appeared to be glass-like debris. The architecture was unlike anything in their database's flowing organic shapes that seemed to grow from the ground itself, yet clearly technological in nature. Strange symbols were etched into the surfaces, glowing faintly with residual energy. These markings, observed Dr. Quintel, their xenorchaeologist, running a tentacled appendage over the nearest wall. They're not human in origin. The mathematical principles suggest a completely different approach to dimensional physics. The life sign led them to the center of the ruins, where a massive spire rose into the twilight sky. At its base, sitting cross-legged on what appeared to be a meditation platform, was indeed a human male. He appeared to be in his 30s, though appearances could be deceiving with human aging. His hair was long and unkempt, his clothing simple but well-maintained. Most remarkably, he showed no signs of environmental stress despite the sub-freezing temperature. As they approached, the human opened his eyes and smiled. "Took you long enough," he said in perfect galactic standard, his voice carrying across the thin air without any translation device visible. Zixara's team froze. The human spoke their language fluently, as if he'd been expecting them. "I am Captain Zixara of the Theta Centauri Collective," she announced, her translator working overtime to convey her shock. "Who are you, and how did you come to be on this world?" The human stood gracefully, brushing dust from his simple robes. "My name is David Chen, though I suppose names don't matter much anymore. As for how I got here," he gestured to the crystalline city around them. "I didn't come here. I was born here. My ancestors came here 412 years ago." "That's impossible," Velnash interjected. "Our scans show you're the only life form on this planet." David's smile turned sad. "I'm the last one. The others, they moved on, evolved, transcended. Call it what you will." He walked toward one of the glowing walls and placed his hand against it. Immediately, the symbols blazed brighter, and the entire spire hummed with energy. "The beings who built this city," David continued, "they weren't destroyers. They were gardeners. They came to worlds like this, planted seeds of consciousness, and waited to see what would grow. When humans arrived refugees from Earth's chaos, the architects welcomed them, taught them, changed them. Dr. Quintel's sensors were going wild. Captain, the energy readings are off the charts. This entire structure is some kind of massive computational matrix. David nodded. The architects left eventually. Their work here was done. But they left behind their greatest gift, the ability to bridge the gap between organic consciousness and pure information. My people chose to take that step. All except me. Why didn't you go with them? Zixara asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. Someone had to stay, David replied simply. Someone had to wait for others to find this place. To learn what the architects taught us. The universe is vast and lonely, Captain. But it doesn't have to be. The spire's humming grew louder, and suddenly, the air around them filled with translucent figures, humans, but somehow more than human, their forms shifting between matter and energy. We never really left, one of the figures spoke, its voice harmonizing with the spire's resonance. We just expanded, became part of something larger. But the invitation remains open. Zixara felt her mind reeling. An invitation to what? To evolve, David said. To join a network of consciousness that spans galaxies. The architects didn't destroy, they uplifted. They're still out there, still gardening, still hoping that species will choose growth over stagnation, unity over isolation. The ghostly figures began to fade, but their voices lingered. Tell your people what you found here. Share the coordinates with those who are ready. The choice is always yours to make. As the last of the apparitions vanished, David turned back to his meditation platform. I'll wait here a little longer. There are others who need to find this place. Other species, other choices to be made. Zixara looked at her crew, seeing her own wonder reflected in their alien features. They had come seeking archaeological treasures and found something infinitely more valuable: hope. We'll return, she promised David. We'll bring others. David smiled and closed his eyes, settling back into his meditative pose. I know you will. After all, we've been waiting. As their ship lifted off from the crystalline world, Zixara stared at the readings on her screens. The energy signatures weren't random. They were a beacon, broadcasting across the galaxy in frequencies that only advanced civilizations would recognize. A call to evolution, an invitation to transcendence. And somewhere in the vast network of consciousness that spanned the stars, the architects smiled and continued their patient work of cultivation, knowing that the universe was about to become a little less lonely.